I'm going to walk you through some of your setup steps to work on your totem pole. Now, you don't have to do this, but I recommend it so that you can make sure that when your final drawing is done and you're ready to attach it to your paper towel tube or your toilet paper tubes, that they do line up vertically. If we don't map this out, they might be kind of skewed and not fit on the paper towel tube the way you want them to. So that's why I'm doing this. Now I'm using just some regular printer paper, but you can use whatever you have. What I'm going to do is find the middle of my paper, and that is 4¼ inches. I know this is 8½, so I'm taking my ruler and I am going to line up the 0, not the end of the ruler, but the 0 with the end of the paper. And I'm going to find 4¼ and I'm going to make a mark right there. Now I've already measured out too how much how wide my drawing should be based on my tube. So, and that is 1½ inches. So I'm going to find 3/4 of an inch on each side. So here I'm at 4¼ and then 5 and then 3¼ Nope, 3½. My bad. So 3½. So that gives me a 1½ inch span to work in. So this line was just to help me find the middle. I don't actually need it anymore. And I'm going to do the exact same process at the bottom. So I line up the 0 with the end of the paper, and I'm marking 4¼ and 3½ and 5. Now the reason that I'm doing it on both ends is so that I can make a perfectly straight line. If I only measure at the top, my ruler might not exactly be in the right spot, so that's why I measure at the top and the bottom. So I'm lining up this 3½ inch line, and I'm going to just make a light mark. I know you can barely see it, but that's kind of the point, because I'm going to erase that eventually, and the lighter I press, the easier it will be for me to erase that. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm lining up this 5-inch line to this 5-inch line, and there we go. So now my paper is kind of set up and ready for me to start my drawing. When you start your drawing, boys and girls, you can draw any animals that you want for your totem pole. I did a thunderbird and a bear. And I will kind of walk you through how we can assemble all of this stuff together. But I want you to kind of just keep in mind a few things as you're drawing. If you are trying to stay true to the Haida tribe or any of the other Northwest nations that did and made totem poles, some things that you're going to want to think about are colors and shapes. Typically, you would see a lot of these what we call ovoid shapes. It's like a combination of a circle and a rectangle. So you'll see those kind of repeated quite a bit throughout the design. So you can use these ovoid shapes quite a bit. Also, you will notice just a certain color scheme that was typically used. So we see black, white, red, and turquoise. So if you're trying to stay true and traditional to these Native American tribes, those are some things that you might want to consider. Now, if you're trying to go a little untraditional, you're still going to pick some animals that you find the connection to, but then you can kind of draw them in your own style. So you might want to just research and find some pictures that you can feel like you can maybe copy, so that you can fill that up in your page and do it in a respectful way. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start drawing my animals on my paper within this section, and I'll kind of talk about a couple of different things that I'm doing as I do it, and then we'll move on from there. So go ahead and get your paper set up, and then we will keep going.